Number one, what was the first thing? Reason, rational mind, an intelligent mind with a higher level of thought that can understand the universe. The second thing, you need a rational universe. You need an intelligible universe. What do I mean by that? You need a universe that you can understand, you can comprehend, right? And this reminds me of a famous statement by C.S. Lewis. He said, men became scientific because they expected law in nature. They expected law in nature because they believed in a legislator, a lawgiver, right? You need a rational, intelligent universe. Scientists do science based on the assumption, it's an axiom, that they will find things they can understand. They will find things that are rational. This is necessary. And we know our universe is rational. We have, like the brother said, mathematics. How do you account for mathematics or naturalism? Do you see? Which is definitive, it's an absolute. You have the laws of nature, you have the laws of physics, you have the laws of logic. Right? And these are definitive laws. These are laws that we can perceive and we can understand. So you need these two things. You need a rational mind and a rational universe. Now herein lies the problem. Can anyone see what the problem is for atheists from this perspective now? Can anyone tell me? Why is...
They can't do science. They just can't do science.
They can do science. They do science. Dawkins does science, right? Apparently, his science.
They can't rely on it.
They can rely on it. But the question is, why is a rational mind and a rational universe a problem for naturalists or atheists? Yes,
The rational thought process always leads to something like where the disconnect is like. So it will always lead to something intelligent or something that maybe scientists don't want to describe.
Yep, and that's the problem. They can't account for rationality. Because from naturalism, I'll briefly tell you, is the view, is the idea that everything that exists is physical, right? All previous causes of things are also physical. It's a closed system. There's nothing beyond the physical according to naturalism, okay? Now if this is the case, if all of these processes are blind, random, non-rational processes, because remember, they don't say there's a mind behind them. They're all non-rational, they're all irrational. If everything is a result of blind, irrational processes, including our minds and including the universe, then how do you get rationality from non-rationality? How do you get rational mind from a non-rational processes? How do you get a rational universe from non-rational processes? Can everyone see the problem? Yeah? You don't get rationality from non-rationality or irrationality. How can these are blind, random, unconscious processes. They don't have a mind. They're just happening. They're random. According to them, everything we see in existence, the universe, ourselves, we are a result of these blind, random processes. We're a byproduct. It didn't even intend us. This process didn't even intend us. We weren't supposed to be here. We're accidents according to them. Everything's an accident. But look how amazing this is. Look at the irony. An intelligent accident. And not only are we intelligent, but the universe is intelligible. And they're in sync. There's a unique balance between the two, where the universe is, for example, mathematically coherent, and we have the ability to do mathematics and understand the universe, therefore. Almost, if you like, a blueprint of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has set this up for us, where He's made us rational and given us a rational universe so we can understand it. In other words, we've been designed for discovery. We've literally been designed for discovery. And why? The question of why is very interesting, and Islam has a very profound answer to this. We're going to go into this. Just another side point before we move on. If you look at it from an evolutionary perspective, right? If we step up a level, go to evolution, what does evolution intend? What's the goal, if you like, if we can say that, of evolution? Can someone tell me?
That we evolve from previous life forms.
But what's the intent, if you like? I don't know. We can't say intent because again, it's a blind, mindless process. But what is it geared towards? That's what they say. But what is evolution concerned with? Yes, bro. Survival is one. Yes, survival and reproduction, right? This blind, random process governed by natural selection is concerned with survival and reproduction. Now, to answer this question, how did understanding mathematics, calculating pi, or doing algebra ever result in survival and reproduction? Think about this. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes literally no sense. If you were walking down a jungle, imagine for a second you guys were leading mathematicians from Portsmouth, yeah? you're a professor at Portsmouth. You're going down a jungle and you're discussing with a colleague equations that you've been discovering or something, right? And suddenly you see a lion. Yeah, and the lion's growling and it's roaring. And you notice it. And it starts running towards you. What are you going to do? Run. Yeah? If you're sane, you're going to run. Yeah? You're going to run, you're going to jump if you see a tree, and you're going to hide if you see a cave. Right? So the point is, when we are challenged in concerns to our survival, when we're put in a survival situation, we go back down to foundational reasoning, basic reasoning. Reasoning which animals have as well. Monkeys can run and hide. Right? You're not going to be sitting there calculating your descent to the tree and the angle of, the angle you're going to take into the cave. This is not going to it's not going to be a concern. You're just going to run, you're going to bolt, you're going to say, lion, run, that's it. So these discovery and survivability are two separate things. They're not linked. Discovering the universe, understanding the universe, doing mathematics, dabbling in philosophy, these things have no relation to your survivability or reproduction. Animals do that just fine. Animals have been surviving and reproducing for thousands of years. Cockroaches, one of the most resilient creatures we know, has been surviving for centuries. It's a cockroach, that's it. It survives, it reproduces. It reproduces like crazy. Who's had a cockroach infestation? Or knows someone that's had a cockroach infestation? Infestation where cockroaches get into the house and they reproduce and take over the house basically, right? Who's heard of it? Okay, what happens basically is once they get in, they multiply and they reproduce like crazy, right? And before you know it, there's cockroaches everywhere, in your beds, in your cupboards, in your rooms, in your kitchens, everywhere, right? They survive and they do a better job at reproducing than humans do, yeah? They don't do mathematics. When did you ever see a group of cockroaches over coffee discussing quantum mechanics? They don't do it. It's not their concern. So again, driving the point home is survivability has nothing to do with discovery, right? And the most basic way we can formulate this argument, or Shid's argument, is if there is no God and all that exists is physical, natural world, which is governed by blind, random processes, and everything is a result of non-rational processes, how do you get rationality from that? How do you get a rational mind and a rational universe? There is no answer. There's literally no answer. If anything, it's counter-discourse. To claim that our rationality has arisen from blind, random processes is counter-discourse. You're proposing something which denies the whole thing, denies our rationality and denies the universe. But from Islam, this is amazing. I'll just make a last point on this. Why are we created? Why does Allah tell us He created us? To worship Him, right? Now, seldom in the Quran does Allah try proving His existence. Hence, I don't like to give arguments for the existence of God. Whenever I do, I try to link them back to the Quran. How does Allah lead us to His worship in the Quran? Yes, bro.
He tells us to ponder, think.
Ponder over what?
His creation.
Yep, creation. Do you not see the heavens and the earth? Verily, in the creations of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and day, and they are signs for those of understanding. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear, manifest to them it's the truth. We've seen a sign from within ourselves, the DNA. Now look at the signs in the horizons. The signs are everywhere. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us these signs to lead us to His worship. Right? Now here's the inference I'm going to make. Right? We've realized we have a rational mind. Somehow we've ended up with a rational mind and we have a rational universe. And this is what Allah is telling us to do. He gave us this rational mind and He gave us this intelligible universe, a rational universe, so we can understand these things in the universe. So we can do science which will lead us to His worship. SubhanAllah. These things are there to lead us to His worship, not to deny Him. Seriously, this is why Allah gave us these abilities. That He gave us a rational mind and a rational universe so we can worship Him, so we can perceive these things. You know what's even more amazing? How big is the universe? How big is the universe? The visible universe, if you like. Does anyone know? I don't know myself, but it's huge, right? The point is huge, okay? Now, how big is the earth? It's tiny, right? There's a picture, I think, taken by, as far if I'm not mistaken, by Hubble or one of the satellites they sent up. And I don't know if you've seen it, Carl Sagan used it in one of his books, on his cover. And you can see a small blue dot. And this was just taken outside of a solar system. A tiny blue dot that you can't even make out the earth. Look how insignificant the earth is compared to the universe, right? Think about this now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. We're insignificant. In the grand scheme of things, we're insignificant. But to help us, to aid us, to lead us to His worship, Allah gave us rationality. Look at the importance Allah has given us. This is showing mercy. This is an act of great mercy, right? I mean, people talk about God's not merciful. Look at the mercy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has on us. He wants us to worship Him, and He's making it easy by giving us rationality, by giving us a rational universe. And a mercy, the act of mercy, the attribute of mercy signifies a personal being. Mercy is not an attribute of something mechanical or a robot. You know, sometimes atheists make the argument, well, fine, there may be a designer, but why is it personal? It doesn't have to be personal, it could just be robotic, it could be a deistic type of cause, right? But the point is, we see mercy throughout the universe. This essence of rationality in the universe and ourselves is an act of mercy. Mercy signifies a personal being.